the board relied on you as a subject matter expert for probation. So we rely on Frank for legal, Chief for police, Bobby, whoever, for fire, Jana, Anna, Chris, as a subject matter experts. And they're supposed to come up with the plan, but we provide the direction as the council. We shouldn't be getting down in the weeds looking at every last little expenditure. That's what we rely on them for. So that's my 2 cents. You may not agree with it, that's fine.
Well, I would respectfully disagree from an expert standpoint of someone who teaches criminal justice that online crime mapping wouldn't fall under community policing programs. It would fall under crime prevention and reduction initiatives, because that's how you're mapping what's going on and how you know how to staff your officers moving forward. So I would just say that from number one standpoint.
Well, our plan tonight is we want to authorize staff to prepare the final version of the plan to bring it back at the next council meeting. So you can, next couple of weeks, you can talk to Chris and give him some more feedback if you'd like, or you can go ahead right now. That's fine.
I thought that's what he was asking for. Sorry.
No,
That's fine.
I appreciate the feedback
Yeah.
about the crime mapping. Were there any other questions on that first category? I'm looking at crime prevention and reduction initiatives such as surveillance camera installations in sensitive areas and enhanced DUI enforcement operations for Measure B. Any comments on that? Any comments on technology and software? So that could include just examples. Crime data analytics systems, body-worn camera data storage and management, digital evidence management platforms, or mobile detection and encryption or security software. The fourth one is training and professional development, such as de-escalation and crisis intervention training, cultural competency and implicit bias training, or advanced tactical and safety training. Okay, the next one is facility improvements, such as police station upgrades or expansions, security systems for public safety buildings, or construction or retrofitting of training centers. Any question on that?
That's a pretty broad category. You know, when it actually came down to it, we'd need more details, of course.
I mean, that's the idea, is to have, like, I mean, we've never had a blueprint in front of us to tell us, is this okay or not? We've just used our best judgment based on the budget and based on the needs of the operation to pay for different things. So that, you know, and then questions arise. And so the idea is, if we have at least, I mean, these are a little bit broad, but they're a lot more decisive and definitive than what we've had in the past, which is just other. I mean, we're going from other to, like, here's a list. At least this is a list. Although they're still broad categories, they're examples, and they kind of provide us some guidance on what would be okay. So what we're looking for is kind of some council guidance on facility improvements. And if there's any comment on that.
I would much rather see us spending Measure B money on public protection rather than buildings.
Okay. Any other consensus on that?
I think we should at least review it. At least see what those are. Because, you know, I mean, it was stated that we shouldn't be paying for the fire department to have exercise equipment. They live there. We don't want a chubby fireman who can't lift anything, and they're staying there for I don't know how long, 24 hours a day, and sometimes 48 hours straight. I want them to be healthy. So, but capital improvements on their building, I think we should be able to look at those individually.
I think that's a tough one because we've had multiple grand jury reports that have said the police department's been an unsafe work environment for the officers. So it's tough because it's, at one hand, you want to put bodies on the street, but on the other hand, you want to be able to keep the bodies on the street so they're not getting sick or hurt, you know, in the old rotting department. So it's tough.
But one of the things, Chris, you're making a plan. So at the beginning of the year, chief say, hey, this is what we're thinking about for this coming year. Things that, they don't have to be things that need to be done right away. It should be planned out things so we can have a chance to look at it and decide if that's going to be what we, this is the funding source or not, right?
Okay. So what I'm hearing is maybe a little extra scrutiny on this facilities improvements. And maybe when this comes up, I mean, especially it being often bigger dollar amounts that probably are at the threshold that would need to come to council anyway, that we need to put this to the side, outside of the regular kind of green light list, and maybe it's like a yellow light where we come to council and we ask. Okay, that's what we'll do. Okay, and then there's just a couple other, and I'll spare you on fire, but there's just a couple other categories: operational supplies and services, so like communication systems, contracted public safety services or consultants, for example, biohazard cleanup. If there's like blood on a crime scene or something like that. And then we have the last category. Stop me if you have any questions. Yeah.
I do have a question about operational supplies and services. I know you had talked about if you needed to purchase a gun for a police officer. I do think any kind of protection equipment should probably be listed there just for clarity.
Yeah, and I could probably have listed a litany of different types of equipment, but because we have a whole category on equipment and apparatus.
Councilman Raymond just pointed that out. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Thanks.
Okay, any other questions on that one? Okay, and the last one is wellness and support services. So that's like officer mental health programs and peer support, fitness and resiliency programs and equipment. So that's the gym equipment that we've been talking about, and critical incident stress management services. Is there anything in there that anyone has a question about?
I would just say that the fitness equipment should probably be moved. Well, unless, again, I think we spent around $14,000, maybe more, for the fire fitness equipment. I would like to see items like that, just like the mayor said. You know, when we are thinking about major purchases, bringing those items for the council to have a discussion and make a decision on these big purchase items so that the public can hear all of our concerns or questions that we have and the decisions that are made prior to.
Okay, thank you. Does that include the other items within the wellness and support services, just the gym equipment? That okay? So just to be clear, other than there was a couple changes. We moved an item from one category to another. Thank you for that, Councilmember Rochester. Remove the SRO language, and then the two categories. Well, 1.5 categories. Anything facility related will come to council for decision, and anything gym equipment related would come to council for decision. And then for the rest of it, we'll use our best judgment, knowing that it fits likely within one of these other categories, and if it fits the budget, then we'll move forward with operations. So I really appreciate the feedback, and I know that I've been, kind of going deep into this, but I really appreciate all of that. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for actually coming up with an expenditure plan for us to look at and have a conversation as a community. I think that's great. It's more than what we've ever had, so I thank you for that. I would say moving forward too, it would be helpful on the warrants list if we actually had a category dedicated to the public safety use and transaction, so that as a council member, I'm not going through the warrants list kind of hunting for things. That would be super helpful also.
So I have a question probably for legal. If, say, we go through these expenditures, or there's something that's spent that wasn't on here, or in these categories, how does the Measure B committee go about? I know they can review it and say, no, that's not an approved expenditure, but was there any recourse for something like that?
The Measure B Oversight Committee, their job is to provide sunshine, right? And they provide an annual report, or they should be providing an annual report to the council out describing what in their view is or is not either a proper expense under the ordinance or a proper expense under the expenditure plan. And then the council hopefully will take that feedback, and if they agree with it, then they probably should use that to update the public safety expenditure plan, because that's why it's supposed to be amended from time to time. Like I said, this is the first time we're ever doing this. We may not be at 99% accuracy, but we start off at 80 and we can refine from there, and hopefully it'll be an iterative process in a very productive way.
Okay, so this is an action item, and the action would be to authorize staff to prepare a final version of the plan for consideration and possible adoption at the next regular city council meeting. Anybody like to?
I don't know if you really need a motion for this, because you're bringing it back. You just want a direction, right? I think it says authorized, but that was probably
Yeah.
more formal than it needed to be.
Well,
Yeah.
strike that then. Do you have?
I'll bring it back at June 9th. Yes, thank you,
Okay.
Mayor.
Mr. City Manager, I think it'd probably be appropriate to set up a meeting with Councilmember Ambrose to go over this with him too, to get his feedback.
Absolutely. Good idea. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to public hearings. Number 9, resolution adopting the amended guidelines for the Community Development Block Grant Standard Agreement, 22 CDBG 10004.
This is just a routine item that we've got. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm opening the public hearing. Now you may please present yours.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of you, Mayor. This is a routine item that needs to be done for our CDBG program. There's not much to it other than what's in the packet. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Council have any questions for Chris? Nope. Okay, is there any public comment on this item? Okay, see nobody come forward. I'm closing the public hearing. I need a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Raymond, second by Kale. Kale?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Rochester?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, now we're on to comments from the public.
At this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may state your name and address for the record, however is not required. Action will not be taken on an item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and or placed on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes.
And the usual statement here, under the Brown Act, members of the public must address the council as a legislative body of the city, not other members of the public or staff. I am now opening public comment. Are there any speaker cards?
Mayor, there are no speaker cards.
Okay. If there are any members of the public who'd like to speak, please come to the podium now.
Mayor, City Council, my name is Robert Waldow. I own the land right behind I own the 6-acre parcel right behind here. And I'm coming here this evening to be able to inform the City Council about Chelsea's investment group's desire not to move forward with the project. And to also ask the City Council to, 1, remain supportive of the project and to remain inquisitive. 2, Chris, I need some more staff time with you to be able to expose kind of what a process going forward could be. 3, continue to open doors for the project. John Checkley came during the last City Council and spoke about the Encampment Resolution Fund. One of the goals of that fund is to provide permanent housing for 27 individuals. And he also talked sort of as a process whereby people who went from homeless to employment, and specifically talked about somebody in the canning industry here. And one of the largest funding sources for this project is supportive of local agriculture and those people who are employed in that industry. And so there's, for the first time, a direct lineage to support this project in the county. And Chelsea, when they decided not to move forward with it, was really because the capital stack couldn't be completely developed because it didn't have county support. So know that that's a window of opportunity, is something we should really look into. HCD engagement is a fourth item on this, and City Council is going to have to, as part of the housing plan, discuss with HCD, but they're also a knowledge base. And so the city hasn't built an affordable housing project in 40 years or any apartment complex in 40 years. You guys know it better than me. But it means that housing at all levels is needed, whether it's at all levels. And this project is supportive of your housing plan. And lastly, sitting here, I'm not a very good public speaker, but sitting here makes me recognize how important listening sessions are. That when you go through something that's new, it's going to engage people in all their fears, regardless of who it's supportive of. But you listen, you spend time. So I've spent almost 3 minutes, surprisingly quick, but I do need to give you an update. And Chris, I'd really like to be able to have additional time with you. This is a long email, but if you just take a look at it, read the yellow pages, and then get back to me. I'm available tomorrow. I came up here specifically from San Diego to see you. And then next week, I'm going to Bay Area, and I'll come back for it. But again, I'll drive up to spend the time to tell you exactly, there's a direct line of sight to success. And I want to be able to tell you what the direct line of success is. Thank you.
Good, thank you for still being engaged in this project over here. It's, yeah, I mean, I don't want to continue on, I just want to make that comment. Thank you for coming and telling us that. Anybody else from the public?
Hi there, Linda Dash again. I'd like to compliment our finance director for the wonderful presentation that she gave tonight on our budget. First time I've really been able to understand some of the things, but I know you have another budget study session coming up on the 31st. I really, really hope you dig down into your little numbers, find out a way that you can hire 2 more police officers. Haven't done anything. I mean, we were told, we've all been promised that we're going to have police officers coming out of Measure B, and instead of police officers, you're paying past due bills. So why don't we do what we promised to all of the folks that voted for Measure B? We're going to see more police officers on the streets and we'll be safer. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just want to finish up Supervisor McDaniel's comments from tonight. He failed to allude to the fact that after 26 years at Castle, tomorrow my business, Gemini Flight Support, will come to an end. 5 o'clock, we shut off the lights and locked the doors for the last time. This was a direct result of what I refer to as the backstabbing tour led by Supervisor McDaniel to go to other FBOs up and down the state to see just exactly how they operated, which has nothing to do with the way the Castle is operated. But we took the blame for it. RFP went out. We showed up at 3rd position on the RFP. Not only that, but the first category of our scorecard, now get this, you'll love this. 26 years we've been there. I've been doing the airplane business for 55 years myself. I have another guy that was there for 19 years, another one for 15 years. Now, out of all that, guess what? We got downgraded in knowledge and experience. Amazing. I don't know what they're going to do out there at Castle. This new outfit that's coming in, who knows? But, everybody talks about supporting local business. Everybody talks about veteran. But you know what? Myself and the 2 others, we're veterans. Did we get veteran consideration? Did we get, local business consideration? We had to put our record on a piece of paper and send it up. That's what we had. It didn't say on there that we took care of President Obama in his aircraft for 3 days. It didn't say anything about the 6 years that we supported a fire base that saved Mariposa from burning to the ground. or the rim fire. You know, nobody, saw any of that. Nobody saw that we went and we supported one military exercise after another. Nobody said anything on there about the 777 projects that we just saw over the last month or so. Nobody said anything about that, but our knowledge and experience took a downgrade. Well, good luck. This is the County of Merced at its finest. This is where you're at with Castle. High expectations for aviation in September '95. Well, we're coming on that 30-year anniversary, and you ain't got a damn thing out there aviation-wise. And why I spent my time out there for the last few years, for the last 26 years, it was over the hope that somebody in a leadership position drawing a 6-figure salary would do something about it. And they didn't, except kick our ass out.
Anybody else?
Yeah, thank you, Darren McDaniel. I was referred to this last time. It was an RFP, very fair process, 3 individuals who overdid it, that looked over it. Number 2, I visited those FBOs by the direction of Gemini. Jim.
Okay. No.
I went to
No.
those
No.
off the direction to see how their FBOs had it. San Luis Obispo, Monterey. I even went down to Hawthorne to look at what other ones did by that direction. So it was a fair process. Everything was put in. Yes, we've named a new company. They're coming in. And because Gemini is still there is because I defended Jim. I defended that company every time it was brought up before the Board of Supervisors. So for him to make accusations that I'd led the charge on anything, I led the charge on keeping Gemini here. And so I do not like the false education accusations made up here, and I felt like I had to come up here to defend myself and Merced County through the process. Thank you.
All righty.
No, you're a liar.
Okay, no, not here. He didn't talk when you were talking. Just take it outside. Anybody else want to talk? Public comment? Nope. Okay, so I'm going to close public comment. Now we're going to go to council updates. We'll start with John.
Well, I want to congratulate Anna, you and your staff, the city manager, the department heads. I actually learned quite a bit on this budget, and your presentation was awesome. And I'd like to say on June 14th, the Castle Veterans Organization will be holding a Women's Veterans Dinner and Celebration at 6 p.m. If you know of anybody who is a woman who is a veteran, please let them know that we're holding this in honor of them, and we'd like to invite them. If they would, they can contact. The number is 209-812-6134 to RSVP by June 1st, so you can get a seat at the table so that we may honor you. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Brian?
Just recently, I had the pleasure of doing exit interviews for the outer high school seniors, and thankfully, they were pretty good kids, and the future doesn't look as dim as it once did. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Kalisa?
I was able to participate in the flag ceremony at the Winton Cemetery. I'd like to thank the VFW District 13 for providing the flags and for organizing that event. I thought that it was very well organized, and I was surprised to see all of the community members who came together for that occasion. I was also able to attend the Salute to service, and that was in celebration of our young high school graduates who will be entering the military. That was really, really It was a great experience. I was able to sit with Gabriel Cisneros. He's from Atwater High School, and his aunt and uncle. I thought that was a really cool thing. Also, I want to take a moment just to congratulate all of the individuals who are graduating from high school and from college. Coming from a person who teaches at Merced College, I always tell all of my students that there's a lot of things that can be taken away from you, but your education is not one of them. So you should always celebrate in the fact that you took time to invest in yourself and invest in your education. And I do hope that those who are leaving and going to four-year universities will return to our community to provide all of the services and benefits that we need as a community. Want to congratulate Mark Hendrickson on his interim appointment with the County of Merced. Just want to say that the Public Works Department received kudos from Mary Pickford from the Atwater Women's Club. I guess one of the employees helped us a great deal from understanding our increase in our water bill, that we actually had a leak. And so this individual from Public Works Department, and his name is escaping me, he was super, super helpful with that. So just want to say kudos again. And also thank you, Anna, for the budget presentation, and to staff who assisted with providing that. I know I had a lot of questions. It's my first budget for the city of Atwater, and city budgets are a little bit different than county budgets. And so I just appreciate the engagement, and thank you very much.
Okay, so yes, I want to thank staff also. Anna, you did a great job on that. That was very informative. But everybody that works in your department, chief, everybody works in your department, Jana, same thing, you know, all the way around here. It's not, I mean, we have good leadership. We now have good leadership in our city, and that's great. And that filters down to the employees too. They're looking for strong leaders that'll help them do their jobs. So appreciate your efforts there. John and I did make it out to Westmark on Friday for their 25th anniversary celebration. That was pretty interesting. They started 25 years ago with about 50 employees, and now they're up to around 350. I heard several different amounts there. But taking a tour of that facility, it was really interesting how many tank trucks, trailers they are pushing through that facility every month. And they are looking for employees, so if you don't know how to weld, that's okay. They'll train you. They hire on work ethic. Work starts at 6. They don't want you there at 7:30. Be there at 6. You'll get a job. And lastly, the strategic plan workshop. I think Chris is going to hit on that a little bit with his update.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Wanted to share a couple things. So the first is at the special city council meeting on April 28th of this year, there was a question on 2 checks on the warrant list, check 27793 and 27791. So those 2 were from invoices from a company called Advanced Chemical Transport for $5,571.58. And that was for crime scene cleanup along Atwater Boulevard on March 19th. The other one was for $1,974.50 from All Environmental Services, and that was for crime scene cleanup on March 21st. I want to invite everybody to what I'm calling the City Manager Inside Scoop. It's at Yogalicious. I'll be there to provide some information about the city, but also listen to what everyone would like to talk about and share their thoughts, concerns, comments, and vision for the city. And that's on Thursday, May 29th this week at 5 p.m. at Yogalicious at 1312 Commerce Avenue. I'm hoping to do kind of different things each month, and this is the first one. Of course, we've got the strategic plan workshop that we've been talking about. That's this Saturday, May 31st at 9 a.m. at 760 East Bellevue Road. That's the community center. We'll have a memo regarding the One Voice trip that will be forthcoming at the next council meeting. And then I just want to give some recognition to Finance Director Anna Nicholas. for her certificate of completion in strategy execution for public leadership through Harvard Online. So I'm really proud of you for the professional development that you do, and that you've raised the bar, and that you bring a higher level of professionalism to the city of Atwater. So thank you for that, Hannah. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, with that, meeting's adjourned.